Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243. Now you know. 205-964-5243. You know.
Okie. Show number 193 for this week's Flippinar. We're here to talk about real estate investing with a strong emphasis on wholesaling real estate, which allows you to make money basically with no money. It's based off techniques. So we got the full house here tonight. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share it. Everything you need to know is right at this number. Right here. So you just text whatever you need, and we'll get it for you. So if you want to join us live and get pushed to the front of the line, you can text the word, what is it? Do I have one? The word is gator, like alligator, similar to this, to that number, and we'll push you to the front of the line. You can ask multiple questions on the live stream. So over to Adrian.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad to have you here. We're into August. Yes. Still having time to get started. You get to choose whether it will be 1 day or 2 day. We are live across all social media platforms. We're back on TikTok. I see you guys. Thank you for joining us. As Ty mentioned, this is the place where you ask your questions in regards to wholesaling. I'll read the questions and Renikia and Ty will answer them. So go ahead and start putting those questions in the chat. Renikia, how you doing this week?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm
How are
good.
you all?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yes. So we're just gonna jump right into this thing. Muna, Dexter, we got you, Monroe, Eudora, Daryl, Sly Mosley, and Nagazi. I see you, but no questions there. Yes, August is hot. That's from Takar. BB, The Real Chase. I see you guys. Thank you for joining us. And wow. Oh, first question is going to be from Instagram. It's from The Real _Chase_Carol. What's the best way to find deals on Redfin?
I've never used Redfin to try to find deals. That's not, well, I don't even think they do for rent properties on Redfin. I think it's all for sale. I may be wrong on that. Somebody correct me, but I've never used it as an option to try to find actual deals. So,
me neither. I thought that was something new that was going on. But no, when I Google a address, Redfin may pop up, and that's probably the only time I'll look kind of into Redfin if they have some information on a property I'm researching. But yeah, I never use Redfin to look for properties either.
Okay, so when we're talking about dealulator.com, aka PropStream, Ty, what are the best filters?
Well, it's sort of hard to describe that, especially for people that don't know anything about the tool. So the simple thing you can do, and I don't know if it's a best filters, but it's one of the filters that I use often. In this particular video, if you text the word text to the number, to this number. All right, in that video, I show you the filters that are used. So that's going to help people that don't have a visual or not familiar with the service or whatever. So that's what I recommend you do.
Okay, so Renikia, I think we probably just mentioned it. I don't know, but just Grind For It has a good question for those who are new to this. It's from Instagram and wants to know, what is driving for dollars? So when we say driving for dollars, what do we mean?
That's a really great question. So driving for dollars is pretty much when you get into your car, you just drive around neighborhoods and you're looking for vacant properties. Properties that look vacant. These are properties, the grass may be outgrown because no one lives there. Just looking for a vacant property. Could be stickers on the door because they're in violation. The house could be boarded up. So you're looking for vacant properties when you're driving for dollars. And what you want to do is take down that address, and then you want to go to the county records of where that property sits, and you want to pull the mailing address of the owner. And if that address is different from the property address, that's probably their mailing address or an address where you can get in contact with the owner and see if they're willing to sell it to you. That's when you send out a yellow letter or postcard letting them know that you want to purchase the property.
That's it. And if you want while you're out driving for dollars, you're trying to identify properties, even skip trace on while you're actually out, even send mail, text the word vacant to the number here. And in that video, I show you how to do that while you're actually out driving for dollars. Technology is wonderful.
Yeah.
Did not exist years ago. So you need to take advantage of it. It makes the business a lot easier. It's not going to do deals for you. It just makes getting to deals easier than before.
Okay, so Keystone Properties, kudos to you, says, what's up, Flipman? I just closed my 4th deal for $7,000 assignment from a bandit sign lead. Thanks for the info. You helped me get started. Boom, boom, boom. There you
Hater.
go. Yes. 7
Congrats.
bangers.
Congrats.
So let's see here. Renika, you can probably answer this for Chris Vasquez. He says, okay, this may not be on subject, but what is a HELOC? So we know it's a home equity line of credit, but what does that mean?
Good question. So a HELOC is exactly what you just stated, a home equity line of credit. So pretty much this is for homeowners only, where you're able to tap into your equity. So instead of you having to refinance your loan or take cash out and refinance your entire loan, you can go to your bank and they'll be willing to extend somewhat like a second lien position type of line of credit. Allows you to tap into your equity, allows you to take that money and invest it or pay off bills, whatever you want to do. So it's pretty much being able to tap into the equity of a home that you own. And it's usually in a second lien position type of setup, because you still have the original loan on the original mortgage, and then you get this HELOC loan, which is a second mortgage underneath the original mortgage. So.
Okay. All right, Ty. So let's see. I'm sorry, got kind of thrown off, guys. So the next question is from Marlena O. And what does CRM stand for? And I know you've done it before, but can you explain how equity factors into a good deal?
CRM is what they're saying. CRM, customer relationship management. I guess it would be system, whatever. Basically, it's just a software to help manage your leads in your sales activity. For the most part, is how to explain it. So, if you're interested in the CRM that me and a tech guy came up with, you can text the number. We have a video to show you how to use it. Plus, we offer support. But that's basically what it is, just a management software of your leads.
Okay. The second part was, how does equity factor into a good deal?
It's everything.
Right. It is a deal. There's no deal without equity. The equity piece is the major, it's the nuclear of the deal. It makes a deal, you know. So I guess I'll explain how it factors in. So your equity is anything, it's the value over what you owe on the property. So if someone's asking for $300,000, I mean, if someone asking for $300,000 on a property that's worth $300,000, you have no equity in it. But someone is trying to sell $100,000, sell a $300,000 property to you for $100,000, we have over $200,000 worth of equity in there, and that's how we really get to capital gains, get to a point of our profits is based on the equity that's left after the loan or after what we owe on the property. So equity makes a deal is really what makes your deal. And Ty, how you want to explain that a little bit different?
Yeah, wholesalers, we are equity miners. We're equity finders. We're actually we're continuously on the search for equity, and lots of it, right? Lots of it, so you can get paid, so the buyer can make their money. Hopefully the seller is willing to give a lot of that equity up. So now if they got mortgages and liens and stuff like that against it, that could affect the amount of equity available or whatever. So what they owe basically could affect the amount of equity that's available too. So just to add that.
All right. Hey guys, don't forget that you can text the word Gator, Gator, to the number 205-964-5243 to join us live and ask your questions, or multiple questions, or 3 questions, or 4 questions. So whatever questions you have, you can join us. Gordo Loco, if this is accurate, kudos to you. We would love to have you on to explain how you did this. But the message on TikTok says, I did driving for dollars, found a landlord and wholesale 7 of his properties and made 72 grand. Keep believing, people, work hard, it's worth it.
Wow.
Hercules.
I can see that.
Now that's
Wow.
Gator there. Got to bring the Gator head out on there. We brought it
That's
out on the
good right there.
7,000.
Yeah.
I know if we add a zero to it, we got to definitely bring
Exactly.
maybe
Gotta
72
bring the Gator
grand.
out. Yeah, you got real Gatorish right there. That's really good.
That's what's up. Would love to hear that story. If you would love to share it with the audience on my channel, let me know. Hit me up.
Okay, so Chris Devia from Instagram wants to know, how does the cash buyer know he is paying the seller's closing costs, and why would he agree to it? I'm going to tag that into another question on Instagram that says, how do you get the buyer to pay closing costs?
You ask. Normally, but normally, okay, everything's negotiable. Let's start there first. But normally, because they know they're getting a good deal, paying that additional $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 is nothing, right? Now, sometimes they, I'm not paying it, or I'm only going to pay half, or whatever. But it's not like you get them to do it. They just know they normally going to do it because they are getting such an extremely good deal. Now, again, it's negotiable. Sometimes they won't pay it all. Sometimes they will, want you to pay a portion of what they think the salary is, but it's nothing to think about. It's just part of it. To get the deals are so good. I guess she's worried about she's going to have to pay, and sometimes you may have to. But if you're about to make $15,000, and we'll just say the closing cost is $2,000. So now you're going to make $13,000. It's not like it's actually coming out of your pocket. It's just taken out of the money that you were going to get. So I know what I'm going to do. I'm taking the $13,000.
Right.
So every day. I wish I could do that every day.
I'll do it every day. And I mean, I think the mindset is, I think when that question to me reminds me of the mindset of a retail buyer. And most retail buyers want the seller to pay. They come to the table. It's just a lot for an average homeowner. So they want the buyer, they want the seller to pay some of those closing costs. And that's pretty normal. The seller already know that, hey, most homeowners gonna ask for some closing costs, but most real estate investors don't think like a homeowner. We already factor in our costs to purchase the property, our costs, our carrying costs, purchasing costs, realtor fees. We already factor that into the deal. I don't see an investor buying a property and not factoring all of those expenses into the deal. So that's why it's a no-brainer to an investor to pay those, because it's already factored into the deal and they already know. So that's just a conversation. Most buyers going to pay for their own closing costs, and most sellers going to handle theirs. So a really good deal, I wouldn't say a perfect deal, but a real good deal, seller pays for their closing costs, the buyer pays for their closing costs, and you in the middle shouldn't have to pay any closing costs. But if there's a case where you have to, then that's negotiated on both sides, and you'll figure that out.
All right. Thank you for answering that question for us there. Going to JVing deals. Someone says, I sent you a property. I wanted you to help JV in Alabama. How can I get this deal over to you beyond a text? Well, a text ain't it. So.
Well, technically you can submit to diggerlater.com. I got all this stuff up here. I don't have it up here. But anyway, so.
Yeah, like this.
Got all that up there. But if you text 5050, it's going to send you the instructions on how to do it. If you text that to the number 5050, it's going to send you the instructions on how to send the deal over. Right. And the reason we do it that way, number one, is you submitting a form and it helps us track your deal. You know, just try to keep some type of organization to it. So if you don't know what, you're going to text the 5050 to this number here. That video will show you how you know how to send your deals over. So.
All right, there you have it. Okay, just give him time. He says that's what I did. He said,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Trust me. When you know,
we will get to
you now.
Absolutely.
Now, the number that you put in the thing needs to be correct. We're going to normally reach back out to you by text or phone call. So keep that in mind.
Okay. Stephen Ducote asked a question. He says, can you use a regular purchase and sales agreement for a pre-foreclosure or probate?
It's still just a transaction. It's still.
Yeah. It's the same document. It's definitely the same document for pre-foreclosure, but I would assume the purchase agreement would be for the probate as well.
All right. Busy Diva from Manville, Texas. Thank you for joining us. Jason Johnson, we're doing great. Hope you're doing well as well. And Noel Rivera, again, text 5050 to that number on your screen there. You should see it in regards to joint ventures, aka JVing. Let's see here. Adrian Johnson wants to know, good evening. How long does it take to learn the numbers and to know if it's a good deal?
I got the calculator, so.
Yeah, man. First, to learn if you have a good deal or not, you text these three letters. It's basically all together, no spaces. ARV, which stands for after repair value. It's a recent video that I just posted, and I show you how to analyze and come up with what will the house appraise for in excellent condition. Then you get over to my free calculator, free. That's all around here, free. You text DC to the number, then it'll get you over to the deal calculator on dealator.com. You just go there if you just want, but I try to make it easy for you. So, boom. Who's next?
Let's see here. Okay, Devon Dees wants to know, do realtors like working with us wholesalers?
Some do, some don't.
Half of them don't. But I would say that just, coming from a realtor background, and it's not the fact that they don't like working with them. You have to understand realtors are paid on transactions. So most wholesalers and wholesaling and all that, some of them, it's a lot of fluff. So a lot of realtors need to just deal with the person that's trying to actually sell so they can get to their commission. So a lot of realtors are kind of taught to shy away from investors. It's not even about wholesalers and investor as a whole, because we think as real estate agents that we're wasting our time when honestly real estate investors are repeat buyers. So we should move towards them. So it's just a negative narrative amongst real estate brokers and agents about all the fluff that investors go through. But I would just encourage you to find a real estate investor that understands what you're trying to do and wants to come a part of your team and just rock with you, and help you as needed from a real estate agent standpoint. But it's just a lot. You got to understand those agents are paid when transactions are transacted, so they're a little pressed for everything.
She explained it. Now I'm gonna bring it to a street level to you.
Okay, talk that talk. They ain't got time.
Hey, I hope any agent that's watching this is going out to you, and hopefully, but if you're here, you probably ain't thinking like that anyway. If an agent's watching this, they're not thinking like this anyway. So if you got any agent buddies, what we at this video here? What we at?
About 20 minutes.
19.
Yeah. So okay. All right. So we're 20 minutes in. So all right. It amazes me that now, like with anything, people can waste your time.
Right.
A wholesaler, like say the real estate investor or whatever. But if they don't get immediately that this person could possibly be someone that could produce transactions every month for me, versus when you have a client, whether it's on the buyer side or the seller side, on a traditional transaction for a real estate agent, they may never see them again after that one transaction.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You don't get that. It's just like, oh my God.
It's weird. It is. It's totally weird. Yeah, it's really taught. I mean, it's like this unspoken thing amongst the agencies is that investors is too much. It's like this unspoken word.
But some of them get it though. That's all they deal with is investors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They get that these guys, if I got three or four good investors, I mean really well. Because a lot of times what they'll do is, guess what, the investor, you bring them the deal, right? You bring them maybe a pocket list. They may have to put it on MLS for 30 seconds and take it right back down until you put as soon as you put it on, we sign the contract. And then guess what? When he rehabs it, guess who he's going to let list
right back.
for? Huh?
I said exactly. It's two transactions for you.
It's just amazing, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and just think about it. On the commercial level, that's all they deal with is investors. So you don't think it's good enough for them, and they're dealing with properties that are millions of dollars, in some cases hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Because they get it. These are people with the money,
right?
They can make things happen quickly,
right? And I totally agree. And I hope every real estate agent begin to understand this and how powerful it is to be dealing with real estate investors. And another thing is what makes it so powerful, because real estate investing is not taught to real estate agents. They're taught to be transactional coordinators. So half of them don't know wholesaling, half of them don't know how to fix and flip. So really dealing with investor teaches them the other side of what real estate is all about. So they really need that connection. And a lot of them don't realize how important that connection is. So
all I want is my 6%. I'm gonna probably get half of that.
Exactly.
Then a percentage of that gonna go to the broker. That's all I want. You're like, golly.
It's weird.
So anyway, I don't even remember what the question was. You got me on my
I was that real estate investor that was getting 3%, and so I realized I could make 100 times that on every transaction. I'm like, I want to do what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, Mr. Investor, but teach me what you're doing, because it's 3%. I can't do this forever. And that's how I end up transitioning by default, dealing with investors, because on a $30,000 or $20,000 property, they making 20, 30, 40,000. I'm coming home with 1,200. I'm like, hold up, I done found the deal. I done put everything together. You done made 30,000. I done made 1,200. I'm on the wrong side of this equation. So that really taught me a lot, and I hope the other real estate agents understand how much that helps them transition to this other side. So yeah. Once you start getting investors check, you don't even want a 3% realtor check.
That you go still have to share with your broker.
Right, you still got to share. I said, no, I done ran around. My car maintenance up. It's just too much. Oh, no.
Oh, boy. The game is real.
Yeah.
All right, so in talking about...
Hey, here it is. Ignorance is expensive.
Ooh, you already...
Thanks to Adrian. Hey, ignorance is expensive.
Ooh, so I don't play no games with this marketing. I'm saying like this.
Okay, so in dealing with the agent, Al Wim just wanted to know if there was a special written script to talk with the agent about a house that they're selling for a homeowner. So I guess, how do you even start that conversation then?
You can go. I
guess I'll go first. I mean, just put on a contract. I mean, what conversation are you having? I mean, if a house is marketed by a real estate agent, you're the investor. Put in the contract as if you're talking to the homeowner. If it's a deal to you, I mean, as long as you're able to sign that contract, is absolutely no problem. I mean, you probably want to double close a deal with a real estate agent, because it'll just, more questions will come out of pot for no reason. But it's the same process regarding dealing with a real estate agent, or if you're dealing with a homeowner. You just maybe want to double close it. What do you think?
until they ask you for that $1,000 earnest money.
I know it's
and until they ask you for proof of funds,
I'm an investor.
All right, now it could be done, right? That's the first hurdle you got to jump over, the earnest money deposit, which that's negotiable. But the agent has so much, in most cases, has so much influence on the seller, right? And so the way the agents look at it, if you ain't got $1,000, why are we even talking?
Yeah.
That's what they looking at it,
Yeah.
right? You ain't got $1,000 to put up earnest money. Why are we even talking?
Right.
Number two, why are we even talking if you can't prove to me you can pay for this house?
Right.
That's the way the agent is looking at it. I get it. Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay, you're right.
You're right.
So if you could jump through those hoops, okay, now the next level of that,
Oh yeah.
you know that property is being advertised to the world.
Right. That's the hurdle.
Already.
That's the real hurdle too.
So if it's such a great deal and it's being advertised to the world, especially now as hot as deals are, I mean, hot as the market is, why is it still available?
Right.
You're not the only one out there looking. And investors are being bombarded by multiple realtors in their email box every morning with what they call deals. Trust me, the one you got on there is on that list probably, right? Again, it can be done, but once you jump through all those hurdles, you got the right buyer that doesn't care about it. It was listed. You make what I call a lazy buyer. They exist, but they're hard to find, where they basically just say, here's some money, go find me some deals. You get that, the world is yours.
The world is yours. You do that. Somebody buying with no due diligence? Oh, absolutely.
Hey, the world is yours. So there you go. We just told you how to deal with agent. You got that 1,000, you got proof of funds, you got a buyer that's lazy, boom, make it happen.
Exactly. And you're definitely not going to get away with $10 earnest money with the agent.
No.
Our agent is minimum 500.
They're always going to use their contract, their 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 page contract. They're only going to use their contract. And you have to make sure, she said, the verbiage in there allows you to at least double close. I don't think they can prevent you from double closing, but whatever. So if you can jump through all those hurdles.
Right. But never say wholesaling, you about to wholesale this and find somebody. Like, don't have that conversation with nobody. Don't have that conversation. No realtor, because they would never allow you to put their property in contract. You got to go real bold. I'm the investor, blah, blah, blah. Got to have your proof of funds together, your $1,000 earnest money, minimum 500, and be able to double close, when you're dealing with a real estate agent. So, absolutely.
Right. And we have one in the chat that says, yep, I'm a realtor and I'm currently transitioning for the same reason. So yeah.
Oh, there it
have
is.
Figured it out.
It is. Hey, Rodrigo, all you gotta do is look at one of them HUDs and say, wait a minute, assignment fee, what is that? And who is this? He got what? My $1,200 check and his $13,000 check on a
Hey, I instantly went to the other side. I'm like, oh, hold up. I done did everything on this transaction. I done did everything. I done found the house, the attorney, bank. I did way too much to be making pennies. So you got to learn it. And real estate investor, please, you cannot be a transactional coordinator all your life. When you stop, your money stops. So we got to learn this real estate investing side in order to even retire in this real estate industry. It's no such thing as retiring as a real estate agent. If you're not out there making transactions, there's no income coming in. So we must transition into being a true real estate investor. So take advantage of that.
All right, guys, I'm still waiting on the first person to come join us live and ask their questions on the show with us tonight. Don't forget, you can text Gator to the number behind Ty, or I can just simply give it to you. It's 205-964-5243. Shad from Westside Detroit, I see you. Thank you for joining us. And everyone else, keep posting those questions. I'm getting through them as best as I can without asking the same questions over. So guys, always remember that if it didn't ask your question, there's a possibility it was already answered. You can always come back and rewatch the show as soon as we're done. So boom, I lost my spot. Okay, so Nate has a home in Montgomery. He says that the seller wants $5,000 for her property, but the ARV is only $15,000. It's a 912 square foot and needs a full rehab. So when we hear $5,000, we often think, oh, that's awesome. But if it needs a full rehab and it's only worth 15, that's probably, you need to get it for 1,000.
Well,
There's no way. There's no way it's worth 15 after repair, right? Is this a treehouse? There's no way after repair value.
yeah. That's going to be as Renika was saying, that's going to be an income play. You still may be able to get somebody to buy that. They know they can fork. It's a small house too, so they may fork 20 grand in it. They may be all in 35 grand, but if they can get $600 a month, then it may make sense. I'm just doing these numbers in the head. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically that's the type of play it would have to be, assuming the neighborhood is just not every other house is vacant or whatever. So that's the only way that'll play it. Normally those type of investors, normally those are people that grew up in that neighborhood. They see it as, hey, I'm buying back the block, you know what I'm saying? So you have to put out signs in that area, you know what I'm saying? They say, oh, wow, $5,000 and this, I'm buying it. Well, you got it for $5,000, you might put it out there for $9,000. Oh, I'm buying it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So normally that's the type of investor you're going to have to deal with on something that, with an ARV even close to that or whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's a buy and hold.
Okay. Speaking about houses that need a lot of work. So Day to Day says, I was out driving for dollars today and I came across a lot of vacant and condemned houses. Can I flip a condemned house? Numbers got to make sense.
Yeah. And what do you mean by condemned?
Well, I guess he means the city may have put the notice on there and, it says condemned. It has to be brought up to a certain standard. But normally that, I know each municipality is different. Normally, it means that they just have a lien against it. Now, it may be scheduled to be demoed, to be demolished or whatever, but normally it means the owner is going to have to do well, it just depends. But a lot of times here in Birmingham, they do that. They want you to board it up, cut the grass, board it up, or whatever, clean the trash up, and they'll take it off the list or something. So, but again, each city is different on that. So you would have to call the city or whatever municipality that is and see what the process is to get a property off the condemned list. But that indicates that may be a motivated seller or whatever, because they've allowed it to go to that point dealing with the government.
All right,
guys. I mean, the numbers make sense. It makes sense.
All right, guys. I'm sorry.
What you saying?
Subscribe. Like. Y'all haven't been hitting that like button. I don't think I've been hounding you guys about that, but make sure you like, subscribe so you're notified anytime new content is uploaded. Renikia, I like this because you normally have jewels for us. Okay. So listen, Relentless_Vic says, when it comes to mindset, what separates successful investors from failed wholesalers? And I love this. David Knox comes in and he says, well, the answer to your question is in your name. Success comes from being relentless to failure and adversity. Your mindset should be to fail your way to success. So that relentless, we call it Gab, just nonstop. So what do you think about that? Back to the initial question. What separates successful investors from failed wholesalers?
I like that. I like what Mr. Knox said. And honestly, I think what makes a real, it doesn't have to be real estate. I think just entrepreneurship and just doing something outside of the norm is pretty much what he just stated, but the ability to push through. And I think the number one thing that really makes someone successful is their ability to complete the mission. I don't care what fires is put in front of me. I'm gonna put out every fire. I'm gonna jump over every loop. I'm gonna go through every mountain. I'm gonna climb every mountaintop. You got to be willing to push through, because the way success is in the way the world kind of push towards you when you're trying to do something great. You gotta be able to get through those moments of valley and those moments and know that regardless of I may be in the valley or maybe that particular deal failed, I still are promised that victory. I'm still promised that mountaintop. So it ain't about real estate. It's just being able to believe in your ability to complete the mission by any means necessary. And I think that's what makes people truly successful versus fail anything. It's people that are just willing to not quit. You can't beat someone that won't stop. You can't, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you gotta have a strong mindset that no matter what comes my way, I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna get to my mission. I'm gonna complete my mission and get to my mountaintop. So that's my point.
All right, I like that. Boom. Hey,
And what
Ty.
you say, Tom?
Oh, I agree. Get on.
Diggy Dang says, "How do I get that shirt Ty got on?"
Hey, it's fresh. Fresh off the presses. I guess we'll make it available. Give us a couple of days.
I like it, Randy Echols. Flipping Bama with Flipman on A&E coming soon. Flipping Bama. Oh.
Flipping banner. I like that. That's catching right there now.
And following back up with the $15,000 house, Nate was right on track. He said, "I was thinking the 1% rule might work. Rent in the area is around $600 to $650. So that would work out for that."
That's really good. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about breaking even about 2-3 years with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would say, what is the he said a complete rehab. I would wonder what those numbers are, but it still should be pretty good to be a buy home.
Okay. Now, a lot of our listeners, Ty, have heard your humble beginnings and your start. Anna Moran has a question I think is interesting. She wants to know, do you or would you recommend Ron LeGrand's real estate DVDs to learn from in today's real estate world? So would it still work now? Is everything still applicable?
Let me see what I can compare that to. Let me see.
I don't know, because this is what I'm thinking. Wholesaling has always been wholesaling. It's always been a thing. Now your marketing techniques and your advertising may have changed, but the gist of
the fundamental principles
has always been there. So if Ron LeGrand's real estate DVD courses was really true on teaching the fundamentals, then it should still hold now, give or take, updating with technology and, I guess things like that. But so what's the answer?
Well, I can only tell you, I would assume, yes, I hadn't consumed none of his content in years, but, I know he's still out there, doing his thing or whatever. But I'm trying to, let me see. I'm trying to think of a spinoff of a company and then another company was created. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Amazon did something like that kind of. They start off with Kindling.
What happened?
Amazon started off as a Kindle kind of books.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's your example. I don't know what you're saying.
Target was just a grocery store. It was a mom and pop grocery store.
Target was a grocery store.
It was Dave's grocery store in Minneapolis before it turned into.
I'm saying like they spent off of Walmart and became Target. That's what I'm talking about.
But
I'm not saying
I'm not gonna. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it.
But let's assume then. Let's just do that.
Okay.
Assume that somebody was working for Sam Walton and then spent off and created Target. We know that didn't happen, but assume that. So that's basically what you're asking me.
I heard Uber and Lyft was like that.
I'm not saying Ron may be Walmart. I'm not saying I'm Target, but I'll give you that example. Is I don't know because I hadn't consumed this information. I just know what I offer. You know what I'm saying? Because he and I do the same thing. I give away a lot of free content, but I have some paid stuff too, right? So that's basically like saying, "No, go buy Ron stuff." That's what I'm getting to. No, I'm just being real with you. This is what I am. So, but I assume this stuff has to be still good. I owe it.
No.
No.
I get what you're saying, but maybe you're taking it too deep. I'm saying if I went home right now and I found that book you gave
you talking about from way back then?
Could I still use that and start
like
right
you
now?
say, it's just technology just has changed so much or whatever. But the nuts and basics of wholesaling, it's just like 2 + 2 is still 4. I used to write it down on a piece of paper. Now I can do it with a calculator. It's still, you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
it's the new math.
Yeah,
these kids got this funny math.
I can't see
the same.
But it's still good over here.
You're good, but I don't see that one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I think that, the fundamentals, I mean, based on, I never read it, I never got this course, but I would just assume that the fundamental basics of wholesaling, it doesn't change. I mean, it's the same contracts, it's the same process no matter what. But I do feel that there's a power in the now, and connecting with people who are actually doing exactly what the resources and the technologies and everything of the day, and also incorporating the wisdom of yesterday and just kind of bridging those gaps to just perfect your craft as much as you can.
Yeah.
Gray Ghost gave you an example, Ford and the Dodge brothers. So obviously the
Yeah.
Dodge spun off from Ford.
I think that, that's how it happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it happened.
They went out and
Yeah,
did
they
their
went
own
out and did
thing.
their own thing. Yeah, exactly.
Right. I really think Uber and Lyft is like that. Someone told me that they're like
Oh,
really
you know what? We'll do
sister
Blockbuster
companies.
and Netflix.
Well, they
Right.
going,
Somebody went and
No.
was like, you ain't gonna take my idea. This is what the direction we should be going in. You're
Now,
not gonna go.
Now they had already started. They had an opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million, and they turned it down.
Okay, that's
Who had the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million?
Blockbuster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for $50 million. But just because they would have bought them doesn't mean it'll still turn into what it is now.
Today.
what it is.
That's true.
But it ain't because of Blockbuster people.
Absolutely.
Some people buy their
it's because of
competition
Netflix
just so their competition don't be competitors.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, the reason Mark Cuban is a billionaire right now is because Yahoo bought broadcast.com for like 1.5 billion or 2.5, some ridiculous number, right? And they don't even exist anymore. So it doesn't mean just because they would have bought them, it would have turned into what it is.
No, I need
Because what it is because of Reed Hastings, which is one of the guys that started Netflix, right? It is because of him. But you get rid of him and you let Blockbuster and
you take away your creative director, the one that
why they don't exist anymore, Netflix probably wouldn't exist anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's the reason why it's
right.
It automatically mean that. That doesn't automatically mean that they would have bought it at 50 million, it'll turn into 50 billion now. Or whatever ridiculous number it is. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, Bruce Wayne. Let's see here. Ty, what time does your show start on the East Coast? Because when I get notified, it's basically over. It's no problem rewinding, but I have questions sometimes. Please help.
That's why you should be on the text message.
He gets notified.
Oh, well, and you don't get it until it's over? Normally, everybody's supposed to get it pretty much around the same time. I can't control that. But anyway, that's where it's supposed to work. You definitely ain't waiting on the YouTube notes. They may send it to you tomorrow or whatever.
You just put it in your phone. We hear every day every week at the same time. Alerted. Put it on your phone and just show up, you know?
Yeah. 8-ish Eastern.
8-ish. And it's real ish.
Is she? I'm just saying. Heavy on the ish.
But we're here. I promise you. I'm definitely here every week.
Central Time 7-ish. Mountain 6-ish. Pacific 5-ish. No, so yeah, it's in there somewhere.
We here.
Okay. Love it. Okay, so Rojito Real Estate. I like this.
Now, let me, before we go back to Ron LeGrand. Love the guy. To change my whole, well, let me just say this. Financially, oh my God. I can't even, I owe him $1,500, I feel like. Right? You know, because I got a bootleg copy of his book.
Yeah, you did make a copy of it.
If I meet him, I actually almost had a chance to meet him back in the spring, but I turned down the offer because they just called me just too, you know what I'm saying? They was having some type of deal that he was going to be involved in, but they just contacted me. It was just too short notice for me or whatever.
Right.
I was going, hey, people like, what's it? Hey,
but you're making it wrong right because you give away so much today.
Yeah.
So I think you're making it wrong right. I think you're going to pay the debt. I think you're going to pay the debt, Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about
God
it.
needed you to do that so you could go out here and bless all these people you bless.
This is far.
And it was a give and take that he did with you.
You're good. You're good.
I'm
Like
good.
you're good.
It's good.
I
Is
can
that
sleep
bad?
now.
That debt is squashed.
I can
That
start
is bad.
taking unisons.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. You good.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah. Y'all release that off of me. Woo.
Yeah.
Having nightmares of Ron Grand DVDs.
Oh, Ron,
It's like I done bootleg this man stuff.
like in 1990.
But I think that's a good story to tell him one day, though. I think it is.
Yeah.
It's a good story to tell him.
Greg Ash, you're right. Same flip time, same flip channel. That is it.
Exactly.
For you youngsters out there, y'all don't know what that means.
What, Batman?
What do you
You
mean?
know,
Yeah.
but they don't know. A lot of them don't know what that means. Same
Oh.
same bat channel, same bat time.
Yeah.
Right.
That is.
Folks.
I love
Gerald
it.
says
Nice
you give away
quote.
too much information. Nah,
Oh.
I don't think
It's
so.
all good with
Because
it.
the thing is this, guys. As much information as Ty gives away, the videos, the daily updates, these every Thursday, it's only as good as what you do with it. A lot of you guys are here, not a lot of you guys, some of you guys are here every Thursday, but are scared to take that next move, that next jump. So it's not really benefiting you. It's free and it's out there, but you're not using it. So until you actually use the information, all of this free info, the free tools, dealulator.com and all the text words on the back of the wall right there. If you're not using them, all the websites, all the
How many videos?
yes, if you're not using it, then what is it really worth? It's not valuable to you until you start putting it to use. So I encourage each and every one of you that if you're here, that you take that leap, that jump, and start.
And I want to add to that. I think I don't know. We may think wealth and riches is for rich people, and so it's a priority. I mean, it's something that's giving to wealthy people or something like that. And I just want people to understand wealth is not a secret. It's not a privilege. Wealth is a given to whoever seek it. And I just want us to understand that if you seek wealth, you put the right plans in place, you go out the right assets, you will eventually get to a state of riches and wealth. So it's just a matter of just putting that plan in place and just walking that journey until you get to complete your mission. And that's what it's really about. So.
To piggyback off this, and I got this off of another podcast, is what's your FFN? What is your FFN? And basically what that means, you know what that means, Adrian? What is your financial freedom number?
Yes. What's your financial freedom number? I like that. I said that before.
And in most cases, it's not having $1 million. For most people, it simply means being able to support yourself financially and the people you care about, and you're not, well, let me say this. It could be you still own somebody's job if you're happy, because that's the only thing that really matters at the end of the day, right? If that number is accomplished where you're working right now, that's it. You reached the pinnacle, because some people that FFN number, millions ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be relative to the individual and their situation or whatever. But for most people, whatever that number is, but normally it does incorporate some form of either side hustle or some form of entrepreneurship, your own business, but only you know what that number is for you to live comfortably. Now, again, that's going to vary from the individual depending on what you want in life, what you want for the ones you love or whatever, but only you will know what that FFN is. So
that's very important to know that number. Because that number to some people just making $10,000 a month. We don't know how powerful $10,000 a month is. You're driving the car you want, you pulling up to the house you want, and you actually got some money left over to take the trip a few, 3, 4, 5 times a year. Just $10,000 a month in a lot of areas outside of maybe California, but I still think that's pretty livable, even California. I mean, we have to understand. We be, a lot of times we never move because we thinking, oh, I need $1 million to be free. No, you need $10,000 a month to be free. I mean, let's start there first, and then you build from there. And a lot of times we start just getting the first thing. I mean, that first step first, and just getting to a point of freeing yourself. You can't free free your family members and your kids and everybody else if you're not free. So figure out what do I need to do to just free myself before I can focus on freeing everybody else around me. So I just want us to take small bites out of life and not look at wealth as this big picture, because wealth is built over time. It's not something that we just go into make $1 million this year or 5 years from now. We make $250,000 a year consistently for the next 10 years of our lives. And that's what truly builds wealth. So I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, real quick, just want to put that out there. If you are aware of ideally a piece of land, it can have a structure on it though, about 2 to 3 acres, somewhat just outside of a major city, right? Definitely close to a freeway, off a freeway exit ramp. Please hit me up, please. 2 acres or more, right? If you're aware for something that's for sale, right, hit me up. If it's paved already for some reason, sometimes stuff happens, they remove the structure, or if it's a really old structure on there, and it's like I say, just outside of a major city. It could be in the city, but ideally just outside of the city. And it's right off a freeway exit. When I say right off, you can actually see the freeway from the property that you're talking about. It could be a little farther, but ideally that's like, just hit your butt.
Checkmate says, I sent you one today. Rick Pena says, I got one for sale.
Hit me up so we can, yeah.
All right. So Phil D, you got me. Phil D's.
Oh, he said, "Oh, you just read it without thinking."
That's his name. That's his TikTok name.
Oh my God! Okay. Here we go.
What do you know about digital wholesaling?
Digital wholesaling?
So is that not virtual?
Are you talking about real estate, or are you talking about domain names, or what are you referring to? Please.
Okay, expand on that, and I'll make sure I'll look up to see if you have a follow-up answer to that. So what's a good strategy to do to kill your competition when marketing bandit signs?
Just make sure you're in my opinion, I don't believe in taking other people's signs down now. You know what I'm saying? So
we ain't that gator.
Yeah, so enough money out for everybody.
Right.
But just outwork them. Your 100 going out every week. Your 100 going out every week.
If that consistency is what beats competition.
It's normally going to weed out the rest of them.
Because everybody, half the people is not consistent with that.
Yeah.
So if you stay consistent, you're gonna beat your competition all day.
All right. He said real estate, digital wholesaling real estate.
I'm still not understanding what he means.
So I'm assuming that's virtual wholesaling.
I guess you mean virtual wholesaling. You never leave your laptop. Yeah. So yeah. I guess that's what you're referring to.
Okay. So this is from Instagram, Katie_2X. Good evening, y'all. So the steps are to find a seller, get them to sign the contract. Find a buyer, get them to sign the contract as well. Contact the title company, then have them close the deal. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
it. 1, 2, 3.
ABC. You don't have to watch any more of this. You get it.
That's it.
I mean, in 5 seconds. That's it. If you run that play every time,
hey, run it back. There it is.
That's it. Rinse and repeat.
And repeat. Yes, that's it.
Let's not overcomplicate that.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Tony _T-Bone again from Instagram. Are there states where you can't wholesale and you must have a real estate license? So yes, there's just creative ways, but they're what?
I think it's Kansas, Illinois, I think Oklahoma now, and then the city of Philadelphia, PA. I think.
Philly?
Yeah, the city of Philly, they require you to have a wholesaler's license.
Oh, okay.
It's like getting a business license for a wholesaler.
I know they didn't take Philly out like that.
Yeah, they say it costs about $500 last time someone explained it to me.
A year or just one time?
I think it's each year.
Oh, they just want that money.
Yeah.
It's funny how this wholesaler business has been around all these years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was sudden.
Oh, yeah.
That's just crazy.
It's just, I don't know.
We gotta start reading. We gotta stop being so loud.
Yeah.
We gotta start putting stuff in a book. Hey, read and pass
So
along.
we turning this channel off today. It's the last day of this channel.
Is it?
It's it.
We gotta start reading a book, cause man, every time we get in the door, they start changing some stuff.
You gotta start recording your screens tonight. It's gonna be over with.
Wow.
So Asaze wants to know, do you teach lease options? So do you go over that?
Really not my lane. I've done a few over the years, but really not my lane.
Okay.
And I would say just get an attorney, call a real estate attorney. I mean, lease options is all about the paperwork and the way you draw those paperworks up and that paperwork up. I would say get an attorney involved in it, and it may be an extra expense and kind of out your way. If you know what you're doing, you can kind of draw up your own paperwork. But I would just say get an attorney involved. A lot of attorneys drop the paperwork and everything, and make sure all acres is covered when you do those lease options. It's really simple. It's a really simple couple documents: lease document, lease option document, promissory note document. But get your attorney to draw it up if you're gonna look over it or consult you on it. I'm a real estate attorney at that, and just make sure your paperwork is right.
All right. I have been looking at the wrong thing, guys. So if you did text Gator, check your messages to go ahead and click the link to join us live. I did. You still have the opportunity to join us. I was looking at the wrong. I was looking at sent the whole time, thinking, wasn't nobody talking to me? But I did just send those link out, guys. So there you have that. So let's go for. Let's see here. We've already done that. Well, I think I've answered all of these. Okay. Omar, when running comps, if my comparable property is the same square footage and year built as the subject property, can you use it if the exterior is brick while the subject property is vinyl siding? So everything's the same except for that exterior buildup.
That's a really good question. Can you use four-sided brick homes as a comp, like a four-sided vinyl siding?
You just adjust one. I would just probably discount 10 grand, something like that.
Adjustment.
Yeah, just adjust it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair adjustment. Yeah.
Okay.
Nearest and best. That's the only thing you can use. Nearest and best.
Yeah, but that's a good question, though.
I would try to look for a house that's not brick.
Right, because I always do four-sided brick homes with four-sided brick homes and vinyl homes with vinyl homes. But I guess it's just a real adjustment, though. But try to find a vinyl siding home, though. Even if you got to go out a couple miles just to see what the numbers are. If it's, even if you got to go out a few miles to just find a comp, I just wanted to see, kind of test it to the brick comp. No matter how far it is, I mean, 5 or 10 miles is just too far. But if you go out 2 miles or something like that, and there's a vinyl comp, just kind of evaluate it based on that brick comp that's closer, and see how close those valuations is. So just kind of look at a lot of comps to kind of come up with it, your final number maybe.
All right. So, oh my gosh, she went away. Your realist realtor, come back. I saw you. I'm looking at your profile picture now. You were there just a moment. I would love to go. There you go. Boom. Hey.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. So I was the one that come in and saying that I was a realtor and I'm currently transitioning into investing for the same reason.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I have a question because I have been speaking with a mentor in wholesaling, and she was basically telling me a lot of title companies. Some don't like working with wholesalers. So how do you go about finding a title company who is willing to work with wholesalers? Do you just call around?
That's a really great question. And I really think, depending on how, concentrated your area is. I mean, in Atlanta, there's so many wholesalers and there's so much word of mouth. Someone knows who's closing. So I would say first start with your fellow wholesalers. Like, who are you closing with? And I'll just refer myself and my closing to your closing attorney who already know how to structure these. But it's title companies. Do y'all have real estate attorneys? Are y'all a title company?
I'm in Texas, so Dallas to be exact. So yeah, we do have some real estate attorneys and title companies both.
Right. I would
But I
check on
haven't
both.
done a deal yet, so I was just like wondering if there was like a way to filter out those who do.
And I would say, look, find both. Try to get word of mouth from like your fellow wholesalers or fellow people who's already closing these transactions and they already know who to deal with. I think that's the easiest.
Okay.
But most importantly, is really calling around and say, hey, I got a couple of deals I want to close. I'm assigning my contract. Are you able to facilitate that type of transaction? So never call them and say, I'm wholesaling something. There's a lot of times it's all about the way that you say it and how you say it. And I would say it in a way where, hey, just give me a call. I got a couple closings coming up my pipeline, and I'm signing a contract, and I just want to make sure that you'll be able to facilitate a closing with an assignment contract, and see what their temperature is, from that angle. And what do you think, Tom?
And my real estate
Yeah.
license is still active. So do I have to disclose that to sellers, to potential sellers? Do I have to tell them that I'm a realtor?
To a certain extent, yeah.
I thought you did. I thought you at least had to have that verbiage that you are a licensed agent, even though you're
But
acting
that
on.
come out in the conversation, and honestly, when I first started wholesaling, I was a full-time realtor. Honestly, being a realtor made wholesaling a lot easier. Why? Because as a realtor, every one of my investors is homeowners. Their guard is down because I'm an agent. So I use that to my advantage. So I used to go to my sellers and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, but I work with a lot of investors. So I may can get your property sold before I even have to put it on the market or whatever the case may be. And a lot of sellers like that. So I really use being a real estate agent to my advantage, and I let everybody know because honestly, it is a powerful position to be in because I knew how low my seller would go, and I knew how high my end buyer would go because everybody trusts in the real estate agent. So that allowed me to maximize my assignment in the middle. But what you probably want to do is bring another person in to help transact that transaction, so you can really look like a third party realtor, but you're the one really moving all the parts and having someone that oversee that business on the back end for you, so you can still get your commission fees and things of that nature and facilitate that whole deal.
Cool. Can you drop your social media info in the chat?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I think we usually put it up before we get out of here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right, make sure you stay with us so you can catch that info when I put it up, okay?
Will do.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
All right. Ooh, I was slacking. Joycelyn, I need to see your face, not your profile. And Rick, you were there and then you went away. So Rick, come back, and Joycelyn, go ahead and as soon as I see you take your profile picture down and join us, I will bring you on with us. Okay, so Renikia, she mentioned it. Like, how can our subscribers, listeners, viewers, all of that, don't even know what word to use, get in touch with you, and what services does your company offer to them?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. As always, I'm super excited and be a part of the Flipman Show. My name is Renikia Williams. My focus is to just kind of bring the money to the table at some point in time on your real estate journey. You may want to take your real estate business to the next level, or just understand the importance of leveraging your other people's money or leveraging your credit to help you buy your resources and things and tools that you need to be a successful wholesaler or fix a flipper or whatever the case may be. But if you're interested in funding and any type of capital, just go to planmynextdeal.com. My Facebook information is my first and last name. My Instagram is there as well. And if you have any questions, just give me a text. I'm going to email at funding@FK Financials. But my goal is to truly help facilitate funding for your real estate transactions. So if anyone have any questions regarding new construction, buy whole, fix and flip, or commercial, but most importantly, we also still provide gap funding. Some things have changed along the way because of the pandemic and banks changing their criteria and guidelines, but we still have gap funding in place for individuals who's looking for funding just to help them fund their down payment or things of that nature. But if you're interested, just go to findmynextdeal.com.
All right, there you have it, guys. I'll leave it there for a while for you to make sure you jot it down, see it. For those on TikTok, Instagram, make sure you go back to the video about 1 hour and 4 minutes in. You'll see it on the screen, but it is fundmynextdeal.com. I'll put it in the comment sections over there. Hey, I see someone on TikTok that says, but I have a felony on my record, so?
Won't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Won't matter.
You can buy.
still-
You're a
yeah,
buyer.
yeah, you can still buy and sell real estate. A
Still
felony
buy.
doesn't bar you from that at all.
Won't matter.
So don't let that deter you, stop you. Don't let anyone convince you that you can't do this because you have a record. Trust and believe. 2415. You say you own 2 acres right off the freeway just outside of a major city. Send it over at Ask Flipman. Just or send it over to the number 205-964-5243. And just to recap, now listen, Ty. This is for Diggy Dan. He says he wants to make. What did he say? He says he wants to recap exactly what you said you're looking for, where it needs to be, and everything, because he has something in Sacramento.
Ideally, it doesn't have to be. Okay, but just outside of a city, normally that allows the zoning to be what it needs to be: industrial, transportation, warehouse. If it's in the city and already has that zoning, then boom, good, or whatever. Ideally, it's already either gravelled, with crushed rocks, as they call them, or we call it gravel, or paved. Paved makes it even more of an opportunity. It makes it easier, right? At least you could do an acre, but ideally 2 acres or more, right? Really no limit on acres. But and then if it's in the city, ideally industrial. Like I said, if it's already been paid, is a really distressed building there, it doesn't matter about that. That could be a plus because it may be a negotiating tool or whatever. But if it's outside of a city, just outside of a city, just off the freeway, one of the major, interstates or whatever, off the exit ramp somewhere in there. Oh, gang! It could be a closed down gas station as long as the property is big enough, right? So, hey, please let me know, please. Pronto.
All right. There you have it, guys. It's be reiterated exactly what he's looking for. I might run up on a partnership with the Flip Man. And Marion, Gerald Reynolds says, looking to Lonergan Law Firm is Galen Lonergan. They're in Dallas and they close deals for him. So that is a wholesale friendly, real estate attorney. There you have it. Someone just gave you one. And that's the thing, guys. Partnerships with other wholesalers. It doesn't always have to be a competitive thing. It doesn't always have to be, as Ty mentioned earlier, there's enough out here for everyone to eat. If you don't know, you ask. And your greatest partnership could be very well with another wholesaler. Don't be afraid.
Wholesaling is great.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Join that Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman Facebook group. There are thousands, tens of thousands of people in there. Surely someone is in your area. Jocelyn, I missed you. I know you said you were at work, so I will go ahead and read your question since you can't join us live. It's, hey guys, thanks for all the great info. I get a lot of leads from Zillow using your text strategy, but I have found it's difficult to talk them down from the listed price. Do you have any tips? Well, I think we mentioned it earlier, that low-hanging fruit on Zillow just very well may not be a deal.
At the end of the day, it still boils down to, are they motivated to sell? Just because it's on Zillow doesn't mean they don't, situation hadn't changed since they posted it on Zillow. That is one of the tougher ways to do it, but I'm going to always side on doing something, right, versus nothing. So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You may want to target another source, but keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, so is it a bad market for wholesaling since homes are overpriced in some markets?
No, that makes it better. That means you're going to make more money if you find a great deal.
Right.
Cash buyers, investors are. And that means if they're selling for more, guess what? That means they'll pay more. Still got to find a deal. Still, people still are having problems in their lives that creates motivated sellers. People still getting divorced. People still losing their jobs. People still have medical situations. Like we know they have medical situations right now, right? Kids still got to go off to college. They didn't save for it, but they got this house over here. Ain't doing nothing with it. All right, somebody died. We know that's happening or whatever. All of those situations still exist, and more is called life. Life creates motivated sellers. You as a wholesaler, your job is to make sure you're doing a good job of letting people know you exist, period. People that own real estate anyway, so.
And then real estate, wholesaling is strictly focused on the numbers. We don't get emotional about any deal. I don't care who grew up in it, what did the numbers say, and if we focus completely on the numbers, it'll tell you if it makes sense to pursue it or not. So if it's overpriced and the deal all of a sudden is out of the money and it doesn't make sense, then it's just not a good deal. Just go on to the next deal until you find a deal that makes sense from a financial standpoint. So it's a numbers game. So just keep going until you find a deal that makes sense.
All right, Ty, you have a lot of feelers out here. It's a drive-in, it's a gas station, guys, whatever, whatever.
Okay, so we there now. Okay, so what you do is we need to figure out the address, right?
Right.
Need to figure out the address. Now, if you don't have the app that you can get, by texting the word vacant to the number, then you need to figure out the address. You might just sit in the parking lot if you can, or sit right in front of the property. Google what's my location, or Siri what's my location. Got to identify that. Ideally, I would love for you got your phone?
I do.
Let me see it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So ideally, I would love for you to be able to shoot a video of the property, holding the phone like this in most cases. Sometimes they, but like this, because it looks good on YouTube because it's horizontal versus vertical, like TikTok and Instagram, but it's vertical. What you'll do is stand in front of the property and just do this. That's all you got to do, right? That's all you got to do. Should take you less than 30 seconds to do that, right? And just maybe hold it there again. Boom. Then you open your YouTube app, log into your Google account. That means you automatically have a YouTube account if you got a Gmail account. Upload the video, make it unlisted. Text me the link. Boom. If you don't know how to do that, as far as how to upload to YouTube, guess what you could do? Go to YouTube and say, how do I upload whatever type of phone, a video, whatever type of phone you have. Bam.
That's it.
All right.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. Just like that. Like in a circle. Do it in a circle.
That's it. It should be less than a minute.
Okay. That's it.
That's it.
I'm good. Okay. Anything else before
That's it. Let's get it. Let's get out of here. It's time to go, man. Let it happen.
So in a circle. Okay.
That's it. All right, Rennie. Anything for my good people?
All
right, guys. Ignorance is expensive. We'll see you same flip time, same flip channel on the flip
Old
side.
school.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243. Yep. 205-964-5243. You know.